Kim Jung's hands were steady on the steering wheel, but his heart was racing like he was heading into a fight instead of a dinner date. He checked his watch. 7:45 p.m. 15 minutes until he picked up Jasmine. 15 minutes until he crossed a line he'd sworn he'd never cross again, letting someone get close enough to matter. His phone buzzed. Minho. Boss, security is in place around her building. Discreet. She won't notice anything unusual. Good. Keep it tight. I don't want her feeling watched. Understood. And boss, good luck tonight. Kim Jung ended the call and stared at the bouquet on his passenger seat. White roses mixed with delicate jasmine flowers. The florist had looked at him strangely when he'd requested jasmine specifically, but Kim Jung didn't care. Subtle wasn't his style, but for her, he was willing to try. He pulled up to her building at exactly 8 p.m. It was a nice neighborhood, safe, middle class, the kind of place where normal people lived normal lives. Before he could text her, she emerged from the entrance, and Kim Jung forgot how to breathe. She wore a deep emerald dress that hugged her curves, elegant and understated. Her hair fell in soft waves around her shoulders. Simple jewelry, minimal makeup. She didn't need more. She was absolutely stunning, and she was walking toward his car with a smile that made his chest tight. Hi, besties! Welcome back to Black and Korean Chronicles. If you're joining us for part 2 of Kim Jung and Jasmine's story, you are in for an absolute roller coaster tonight. This episode is going to take you places you did not see coming, so make sure you hit that subscribe button right now because you don't want to miss what happens next. Drop a like on this video and please comment below telling me where you're watching from. It genuinely helps this channel grow and bring you more incredible stories like this one. Seriously, your support means everything. Thank you so much for being here. Now let's get back into the story because things are about to get intense. Kim Jung got out quickly, opening her door before she could reach for the handle. You look beautiful. Jasmine's smile widened. Thank you. You clean up pretty well yourself. She noticed the bouquet as she slid into the passenger seat. Are those for me? Yes. He handed them to her once he was back in the driver's seat. I thought you might appreciate the jasmine. She brought the flowers to her nose, inhaling deeply, and her expression softened. This is incredibly thoughtful. Thank you, Kim Jung. Hearing his name from her lips did things to him. Dangerous things, wonderful things. He pulled into traffic, hyper-aware of her presence beside him. She smelled like vanilla and something floral. Her perfume filled the car's interior, wrapping around him like a physical touch. So, where are we going? She asked, settling the flowers carefully on her lap. A place called Moonlight. Small, private, excellent food. The owner is discreet. Discreet? Her tone was curious, not suspicious. Are you worried about being seen with me? No, I'm worried about you being seen with me. I'm not exactly popular in certain circles. Being associated with me can bring unwanted attention. Jasmine was quiet for a moment, and Kim Jung braced himself for questions he couldn't answer. Instead, she said, I'm tougher than I look, and I make my own decisions about who I spend time with. If unwanted attention comes, I'll deal with it. Her simple acceptance of his complicated reality made something warm bloom in his chest. Most people either feared what he represented or wanted to use his power for their own gain. Jasmine seemed content to just be here, with him, asking nothing except his company. They arrived at Moonlight 15 minutes later. The restaurant was tucked away on a quiet street in Hanam-dong, expensive and exclusive. The owner, an older woman named Mrs. Choi, greeted them personally. Mr. Kim, welcome. Your usual table is ready. And who is this lovely guest? This is Jasmine Park. Jasmine, Mrs. Choi owns this establishment. Her food is the best in Seoul. You flatter me. But she was clearly pleased. Come, I'll take you to your table. The private dining room was intimate, separated from the main restaurant by rice paper screens. Soft lighting, a low table with comfortable cushions, and a view of a small garden through floor-to-ceiling windows. It was romantic without being obvious, perfect for a first date. After they ordered, a comfortable silence settled between them. Kim Jung watched Jasmine look around the space, taking in details, and wondered what she saw. Did she notice the expensive art on the walls, the security camera in the corner that Mrs. Choi had installed at his request, the emergency exit he'd scoped out the moment they entered? "You're staring," Jasmine said, amusement in her voice. "Sorry, I'm trying to figure out what you're thinking." "I'm thinking this place is beautiful, and I'm wondering why someone like you asked someone like me to dinner." "Someone like me?" "Powerful, wealthy, clearly used to getting what you want." She leaned forward slightly. "I run a boutique, Kim Jung. I'm good at what I do, but I'm not in your league financially or socially. So why me?" Kim Jung considered his answer carefully. He could lie, give her some smooth line about being attracted to her beauty or charmed by her personality. Both would be true, but incomplete. Or he could give her the real answer, the one that terrified him. "Because you make me feel alive," he said simply. "For 6 months, I've been going through the motions of existing, and then I walked into your boutique and you smiled at me and something woke up that I thought was dead forever. I don't understand it. I can't explain it, but I'm tired of pretending I don't feel it." Jasmine's eyes widened, something vulnerable flickering across her face. "That's the most honest thing anyone said to me in years. I don't know how to be anything else with you. Every instinct I have tells me to lie, to protect myself, to keep distance. But when I'm near to you, those instincts disappear. Is that scary for you?" "Terrifying." "Good, because it's terrifying for me too. I don't usually do this. Go to dinner with clients, let myself get involved with people I barely know. But there's something about you that makes me want to take the risk." Their food arrived, interrupting the moment. Mrs. Choi had prepared a feast, bulgogi so tender it melted on the tongue, perfectly seasoned banchan, savory jjigae that warmed from the inside out. They ate and talked, and Kim Jung discovered that conversation with Jasmine was effortless. She told him about growing up in Busan, the youngest of 3 sisters. Her father was a fisherman, her mother a seamstress. She'd learned about fabric and design watching her mother work, had fallen in love with fashion as a teenager. Her parents had sacrificed everything to send her to Paris for training, and she'd returned to Seoul determined to make them proud. "They passed away 2 years ago," she said, sadness touching her voice. "Car accident. One day they were here, the next they were gone. Opening Essence was my way of honoring them, continuing what my mother taught me about craftsmanship and care." Kim Jung reached across the cable, covering her hand with his. "I'm sorry. Losing parents it changes you." "You sound like you're speaking from experience." "My parents died when I was 19. My father built a business empire, and then a heart attack took him before he could enjoy any of it. My mother followed 6 months later. The doctor said it was pneumonia, but I think she just didn't want to live without him." Jasmine turned her hand over, lacing her fingers through his. The contact sent electricity up his arm. But it was more than physical. It was connection, understanding. 2 people who'd lost too much recognizing each other's grief. "Is that when you took over the family business?" she asked. Kim Jung tensed slightly. This was dangerous territory. "Yes, I was young, unprepared, but I didn't have a choice. My sister needed protection, needed stability, so I became what I needed to be. And what was that? Someone people fear more than they love." Jasmine studied him for a long moment. "You don't fear me. Maybe you should." "Maybe," she agreed, "but I don't. I see someone who's built walls to survive, who carries responsibility like armor. But underneath all that, I see someone who's lonely, someone who wants connection but doesn't know how to reach for it anymore." Her perception cut through him like a blade. "You see too much. Or maybe you're just tired of hiding." She squeezed his hand gently. It's okay to be human, Kim Jung. It's okay to want things beyond survival. They finished dinner in comfortable silence. The weight of shared understanding settled between them. When Mrs. Choi brought dessert, sweet rice cakes and fresh fruit, Kim Jung realized he'd been smiling for the past hour. Actually smiling, not the cold expression he wore like a mask in his business dealings. "Walk with me," he said after they'd finished. "There's a park nearby. It's beautiful at night." They left Moonlight and walked through the quiet streets of Hanamdong. The autumn air was cool, crisp, perfect for walking. Kim Jung stayed close to Jasmine, hyper-aware of her presence beside him. His security team was nearby, he knew, watching from the shadows. But for these moments, he could pretend they were just two normal people enjoying an evening together. The park was small, intimate, with winding paths and strategically placed lights that created pockets of illumination in the darkness. They walked slowly, neither in a hurry to end the evening. "Can I ask you something?" Jasmine said as they paused near a small pond. "About what you said earlier, about feeling dead for 6 months. What happened?" Kim Jung stiffened. This was the question he'd been dreading and expecting in equal measure. He could deflect, change the subject, shut down the conversation. Or he could trust her with a piece of his truth. "I was attacked," he said finally. 6 months ago. 4 men. A warehouse. Very deliberate. They wanted to hurt me in ways that would last." Jasmine's hand found his arm, her touch gentle but grounding. "Kim Jung, I'm so sorry. Did they catch who did it?" "No. Whoever ordered it covered their tracks well, but that's not the worst part." He turned to face her, needing her to understand without having to spell out every horrific detail. "The attack damaged me, physically, in ways the doctors said were permanent. They told me I'd never be able to, that certain parts of being a man were gone forever." Her eyes widened with understanding, but there was no pity there, just compassion. "And then you walked into my boutique, and everything they said was impossible happened. My body responded to you in ways it hadn't responded to anything or anyone in 6 months. That's why I ran, because it shouldn't have been possible, and I didn't know how to process it." She stepped closer, her hand moving from his arm to his chest, right over his heart. "And now, how do you feel now?" "Alive, terrified, grateful, confused, everything all at once." His hand covered hers, holding it against his racing heartbeat. "You have no idea what you've given me, Jasmine. Hope, possibility, the chance to believe I might not be broken after all." "You were never broken," she said firmly. "Wounded, yes. Damaged, temporarily, but not broken. Broken things can't heal. You're healing, Kim Jung. Your body just needed the right reason to remember how." He wanted to kiss her. God, he wanted to kiss her more than he'd wanted anything in his entire life. But fear held him back. Fear that he'd ruin this moment. Fear that his world would contaminate hers. Fear that getting closer would put her in danger. Jasmine seemed to sense his internal struggle. She rose on her toes, bringing her face closer to his. "What are you afraid of?" "Everything. Nothing. You." His voice came out rough, raw. "I'm afraid of wanting you this much. Afraid of what it means. Afraid of what could happen if the wrong people find out you matter to me." "Then don't tell them. Keep me separate from that part of your life." Her breath ghosted across his lips. "But don't push me away because you're scared. I'm already here, Kim Jung. I'm already choosing to be here knowing you're complicated and dangerous and carrying secrets you can't share. I'm here anyway." That broke his control.
Kim Jung closed the distance between them and kissed her. Soft at first, tentative, like he was learning a new language. But Jasmine kissed him back with a certainty that undid him, her arms wrapping around his neck, pulling him closer. The kiss deepened, years of loneliness and 6 months of numbness crashing against the present moment. Kim Jung's hands found her waist, pulling her flush against him, and his body responded with an intensity that would have shocked him if he could think. But thinking was impossible. There was only sensation, only Jasmine, only this moment of perfect connection. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Kim Jung rested his forehead against hers. "You're sure about this? About me? Because once we cross this line, I won't want to go back." "I'm sure." She smiled, her eyes bright in the park's dim lighting. "I've been sure since you walked back into my boutique yesterday, maybe even since you ran out the first time. Something about you, Kim Jung. Something calls to me." They kissed again, slower this time, savoring it. The park was empty except for them, the city's noise distant and unimportant. For these stolen moments, they were the only two people in the world. Eventually, reluctantly, Kim Jung pulled back. "I should take you home. It's getting late." "Always so proper," she teased, but her smile was warm. "Okay, take me home. But Kim Jung, I want to see you again. Soon." "Tomorrow?" "Tomorrow," she agreed. The drive to her apartment was quiet but comfortable, their hands linked across the center console. When they arrived, Kim Jung walked her to her door like a gentleman from another era. "Thank you for tonight. For dinner, for the walk, for trusting me with your truth. It means more than you know." "Thank you for seeing me, the real me, not the mask I wear for everyone else." She kissed him one more time, soft and sweet and full of promise. "Good night, Kim Jung. Text me when you get home safe." "I will." He waited until she was inside, door locked, before returning to his car. As he drove away, he checked his mirrors and spotted his security team's vehicle 3 cars back. Good. They were doing their job. Jasmine would be safe, even if she didn't know she was being protected. His phone rang. "Minho. Boss, we need to talk. Something's come up." The warmth from the evening evaporated instantly. "What happened?" "Not over the phone. Meet me at the office. It's about the warehouse attack. We finally have a lead." Kim Jung's grip tightened on the steering wheel. 6 months of searching, and now, tonight of all nights, they had information. "I'll be there in 20 minutes. He texted Jasmine. "Home safe. Sweet dreams. Tomorrow can't come soon enough." Her response came quickly. "Sleep well." And Kim Jung, tonight was perfect. 20 minutes later, Kim Jung walked into his private office to find Minho with a laptop and several files spread across the desk. His right-hand man looked grim. "Talk to me," he said, shrugging off his jacket. "Remember Park Sung-ho? Used to run our operations in Busan before he tried to skim off the top?" "I remember. We dealt with him 2 years ago." "We thought we dealt with him. Turns out he survived, went underground, and has been building alliances. According to our source, he ordered the warehouse attack. Revenge for destroying our operation, and this is the important part, he wants to take over your territory." Kim Jung processed this information with cold calculation. Park Sung-ho, a man he'd humiliated and thought he'd eliminated, a ghost come back to haunt him. How reliable is this source? Very. He's one of Park's inner circle, once out, willing to trade information for protection and money. What else does he know? Minho hesitated. "Boss, Park's been watching you for months. building a profile, learning your routines, your properties, your vulnerabilities. And tonight, his people spotted you with a woman. They don't know who she is yet, but they're looking. Ice flooded Kim Jung's veins. When? Tonight? At the restaurant, boss. Park has people everywhere. They saw you arrive with her, saw you leave together. They're already digging into her identity. Kim Jung's mind raced through implications and scenarios, each one worse than the last. If Park discovered Jasmine mattered to him, she'd become a target, another weapon to use against him, another person he cared about who could be hurt to break him. Double her security immediately. I want eyes on her 24/7. If anyone suspicious gets within a block of her boutique or her apartment, I want to know. Already done. I tripled the team as soon as I got word. Boss, maybe you should distance yourself from her. If Park thinks she doesn't matter, he'll ignore her. No. The word came out sharp, final. I'm not running from this. Not again. Park wants war, he'll get war, but Jasmine stays protected. She's going to notice eventually security teams, surveillance, pattern disruptions. She'll start asking questions. Then I'll answer them, but I won't abandon her to keep her safe. That's not protection. That's cowardice. Kim Jung stood, pacing to the windows overlooking Seoul. Somewhere out there, Jasmine was probably getting ready for bed, completely unaware that she'd just been
pulled into a dangerous game. What's the plan? Minho asked. Find Park. I want to know where he is, who he's working with, what resources he has. Then we end this. Permanently. No more ghosts. No more threats. He tried to break me once. This time, I'll make sure he regrets surviving. And the woman? Jasmine? Kim Jung's reflection in the window looked harder, colder than the man who'd been kissing her in the park an hour ago. The mask was back, the armor rebuilt, but underneath, the fear was real. Fear for her, fear of losing the one good thing that had happened to him in 6 months. She doesn't know what I am. Not really. When she finds out, and she will find out, she'll probably run. But until then, I'm going to protect her with everything I have. Park Sung-ho wants to use her against me? Let him try. He'll learn why people fear the name Kim Jung. Minho nodded, recognizing the tone. Business mode. War mode. The side of Kim Jung that made enemies disappear and problems solve themselves with brutal efficiency. They spent the next 2 hours going through intelligence, planning moves and counter-moves. By the time Kim Jung finally went home, it was past 3 a.m. He was exhausted but couldn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw 2 images, Jasmine's smile in the park and the warehouse where Park's men had nearly killed him. His phone buzzed. A message from Jasmine. Can't sleep. Keep thinking about tonight. About you. Is it crazy that I miss you already? Kim Jung stared at the message, war between his heart and his head. He should create distance, should protect her by pushing her away, should be smart instead of selfish. He typed back, not crazy. I miss you too. Tomorrow? Lunch? My treat. Tomorrow. Can't wait. Kim Jung set down his phone and made a decision. He wouldn't run from this, wouldn't let fear or danger rob him of the first real connection he'd felt in years. But he would be smart. He'd protect Jasmine without her knowing it. He'd eliminate Park before the threat became real. And he'd find a way to have both, her warmth and his war. Because losing her now, after finally feeling alive again, wasn't an option. Park Sung-ho had tried to break him once and failed. This time, Kim Jung would make sure his enemy understood exactly what happened when you threatened the things he cared about. The game had changed. The stakes were higher. And Kim Jung was done playing defense. Tomorrow, He'd see Jasmine and pretend everything was normal. But behind the scenes, in the shadows where he'd always operated best, he'd start building the end of Park Sung-ho's second chance at life. Some ghosts needed to stay buried, and some wars needed to be fought in silence to protect the people who made peace worth having. The next morning, Kim Jung woke to 17 missed calls and a text from Minho that made his blood run cold. Park knows her name. We have a problem. He called back immediately. Minho answered on the first ring. How bad? Kim Jung demanded, already moving toward his closet, pulling on clothes with one hand. Bad. Park's people identified her vehicle last night, ran the plates, traced it to her address. They have her full name, her business, everything. Boss, they've been watching her boutique since opening. 3 men, stationed across the street. Kim Jung felt rage surge through him, hot and violent. Are they making moves? Not yet. Just surveillance. But Park sent a message through our source. He wants a meeting. Says if you don't show, he'll introduce himself to Jasmine, personally. When and where? Tonight, 8 p.m., the old textile factory in Seongsu-dong. He's giving you 12 hours. Kim Jung checked his watch. 9 a.m., 12 hours to plan, to prepare, to figure out how to end this without Jasmine getting caught in the crossfire. Tell him I'll be there, but Minho, I need you to do something for me first. Anything, boss. Cancel my lunch with Jasmine. Tell her I have an emergency, something came up. Make it sound believable, but not alarming. And then I need you to get her out of Seoul, today. I don't care how, just get her somewhere safe. Boss, she's not going to just leave because I ask her to. She doesn't know me, doesn't know what's happening. Kim Jung closed his eyes, fighting against the reality he'd been trying to avoid. Then I'll tell her myself. But after I do, you make sure she gets on a plane, Busan, Jeju, anywhere that's not here. Keep her there until I handle Park. And if she refuses? She won't. Not when she understands what's at stake. But Kim Jung was wrong. 2 hours later, sitting across from Jasmine in her boutique, after he'd sent away her staff with some excuse about a private consultation, he watched her face shift from concern to understanding to something he hadn't expected, determination. So let me get this straight. You're involved in some kind of criminal enterprise. Someone from your past wants revenge and is threatening to hurt me to get to you. And your solution is to ship me off to Busan like I'm a package that needs hiding? It's not like that. Then what is it like, Kim Jung? She stood, pacing her boutique with controlled fury. You show up here looking terrified, tell me I'm in danger because of you, and then expect me to just disappear while you handle it? Did it occur to you that maybe I deserve a say in this? Jasmine, you don't understand the kind of people we're dealing with. Park Sung-ho is dangerous. He already tried to kill me once. If he gets his hands on you, then protect me here, with security, with whatever resources you have. But don't ask me to run and hide like I'm helpless. Kim Jung stood, moving toward her, his grip gentle despite the urgency in his voice. This isn't about you being helpless. This is about you being safe. Everything I told you last night about the attack, about the damage, about what they did to me, that's what Park does to people. He doesn't kill quickly. He breaks you slowly, takes away everything that makes you human. I can't let that happen to you. Jasmine's expression softened slightly, but her stance remained firm. I appreciate that you want to protect me, I do, but Kim Jung, I'm not some delicate flower that shatters at the first sign of trouble. I've survived loss. I've built a business from nothing. I've dealt with difficult people and dangerous situations. I can handle this. Not this. You can't handle this because you don't know what this is. His voice rose with frustration and fear.
Park's people are watching your boutique right now. 3 men across the street. They know where you live, where you work, probably where you eat breakfast. If I don't show up to his meeting tonight, he's going to make contact with you. And when he does, your life as you know it ends. She paled slightly at that, the reality sinking in. What kind of contact? The kind that starts with intimidation and ends with leverage. He'll hurt you to control me. That's how this works. That's how it's always worked. Kim Jung took her hands, his grip gentle despite the urgency in his voice. Please, Jasmine, I'm begging you. Take the flight to Busan. Stay with my sister if you need to. I'll have this resolved in a few days, and then you can come back. But I can't focus on ending Park if I'm worried about you being here, vulnerable, exposed. Jasmine pulled her hands away, wrapping her arms around herself. And what happens at this meeting tonight? What are you planning to do? What I have to do. Which means violence, possibly killing. She looked at him with eyes that saw too much. That's who you are, isn't it? Not just some businessman with shady connections. You're actually dangerous. Kim Jung wanted to lie, to soften it somehow, but he'd promised himself honesty with her. Yes, I'm dangerous. I've done things that would horrify you, hurt people, eliminated threats, built an empire on fear and violence. That's the world I live in. That's who I am when I'm not with you. But when you're with me? When I'm with you, I remember what it feels like to be human, to want something beyond survival, to care about someone more than power. He moved closer, not touching her, but close enough that she could feel his presence. That's why I need you safe, Jasmine, because you're the only good thing in my life right now, the only thing that makes me want to be better than what I am. Tears gathered in her eyes, but she blinked them back. This is insane. We've known each other for 3 days. 3 days, Kim Jung, and you're asking me to upend my entire life because some ghost from your past wants revenge. I know it's insane. I know it's too much, too fast, but I can't change the situation. I can only try to keep you out of it. Jasmine was quiet for a long moment, thinking, processing. Finally, she spoke. If I go to Busan, how long? A week? Maybe less if things
Go smoothly. And you promise you'll come back? That this Park person won't kill you tonight? I promise I'll do everything in my power to come back to you. That's not the same as promising you'll come back. No, he admitted. It's not. But it's the only promise I can make honestly. She nodded slowly, resignation settling over her features. Okay, I'll go, but Kim Jung, you need to understand something. I'm not doing this because I'm scared, and I'm not doing this because you told me to. I'm doing this because I care about you, impossibly and stupidly after only 3 days. And I don't want to be a distraction that gets you killed. But when this is over, when you've handled whatever needs handling, we're going to have a serious conversation about what this is and whether I can actually be part of your life. Relief flooded through him. Thank you. Minho will pick you up in an hour. Pack light, don't tell anyone where you're going, and don't use your credit cards or phone except for emergencies. You've really thought this through. I've had to. This is what survival looks like in my world. Jasmine stepped forward, cupping his face in her hands. Then survive tonight. Come back to me. Because I'm not done figuring out what we are yet. Kim Jung kissed her, pouring everything he couldn't say into that contact. Fear, hope, desperation, promise. When they finally broke apart, he forced himself to step back to create distance before he changed his mind about sending her away. I'll see you in a few days. You better. An hour later, Minho confirmed that Jasmine was on a private plane to Busan, escorted by 3 of their best security personnel. She'd be staying in a safe house owned by Kim Jung's sister, though Ji-won didn't know the real reason for the sudden visit. As far as his sister knew, Jasmine was a friend who needed a quiet place to work on new designs. Kim Jung spent the rest of the day preparing for the meeting. Weapons checked and secured, backup teams positioned around the textile factory, escape routes mapped, every contingency planned for except the one where he didn't make it out alive. At 7:30 p.m., Kim Jung stood in his penthouse staring at his reflection in the mirror. The man looking back was the Kim Jung everyone feared, cold, calculating, ready for violence. The man who'd kissed Jasmine in the park last night felt like a drone, something too soft to survive in the world he actually inhabited. His phone buzzed. A message from Jasmine. Landed safely. Your sister is lovely. Please be careful tonight. I meant what I said. Come back to me. Kim Jung typed a response. I will. I promise. It was a lie, potentially, but it was the lie she needed to hear. And if he was being honest with himself, it was the lie he needed to believe. At 8 p.m. exactly, Kim Jung walked into the abandoned textile factory in Songsu-dong. The space was vast, dark, filled with rusted machinery and the ghosts of workers long gone. Park Sung-ho stood in the center, flanked by 6 men, all armed, all ready for violence. Park looked different than Kim Jung remembered him. Thinner, harder, with scars visible on his neck and hands. Souvenirs from their last encounter. Kim Jung, it's been a long time. Not long enough. You should have stayed dead, Park. I tried to. You made it very difficult. But I'm resilient and patient. And now I finally have what I need to break you. You have nothing, don't I? Pretty little boutique owner, Jasmine Park. She means something to you. I can see it in your eyes. That's new, Kim Jung. You never cared about anyone before. Makes you vulnerable. Makes you weak. Kim Jung's hands clenched at his sides, but his face remained impassive. She's gone. Out of Seoul. Somewhere you'll never find her. So your leverage just evaporated. Park's smile widened. You think I'm that stupid? You think I only have one play? He pulled out his phone, swiped through images, then turned the screen toward Kim Jung. The photos made his blood freeze. Jasmine at the airport. Jasmine boarding the plane. Jasmine arriving at Ji-won's house in Busan. Current photos taken within the last few hours. You have people everywhere, Kim Jung. Following her was easy. And killing her, that'll be even easier if you don't give me what I want. Kim Jung forced himself to breathe normally, to think clearly despite the rage and fear threatening to overwhelm him. What do you want? Everything. Your territory, your operations, your connections. You're going to sign it all over to me. And then you're going to disappear, retire, vanish. I don't care where you go. As long as it's far from Seoul. Do that, and your precious Jasmine lives. Refuse, and she dies slowly while you watch. The factory was silent except for the distant sound of traffic. Kim Jung calculated odds, angles, possibilities. 6 armed men plus Park. His backup team was outside, but starting a firefight here would be messy, loud, problematic. But giving Park everything meant losing more than territory. It meant losing himself. You won't kill her. Won't I? No, because if you kill her, you lose your leverage. And without leverage, I'll hunch you to the ends of the earth. You know I will. You've seen what I'm capable of when someone threatens what's mine. Park's smile faltered slightly. Then I'll just hurt her. Break her slowly like my men broke you. Keep her alive, but damaged. Is that what you want? Kim Jung took a step forward and every gun in the room swung toward him. He stopped, hands visible, non-threatening. Here's what's going to happen, Park. You're going to walk away tonight. Take your men, leave Seoul, and never come back. Do that, and I'll let you live. Stay, and I'll finish what I started 2 years ago. Only this time, there won't be any coming back. Big words from a man surrounded by my guns. Your guns don't scare me. Death doesn't scare me. I've already died once, Park. You made sure of that in the warehouse. But you know what brought me back to life? Her, Jasmine. And I will burn this entire city down before I let you touch her. The conviction in his voice must have registered because Park's expression shifted, uncertainty creeping in. Kim Jung pressed his advantage. You want war? I'll give you war. But understand this, you won't win. You think you're prepared, but you're not. You think you understand what I'm willing to do, but you don't. I've spent 6 months wanting to die. You just gave me a reason to live. Do you understand what that means? It means I'm dangerous in ways you can't imagine. It means I'll sacrifice everything to keep her safe, including you. Park stared at him for a long moment. Then, slowly, he lowered his phone. You'd really give up everything for one woman? Without hesitation. Then you're weaker than I thought. But his tone had changed, become less certain. Fine, I'll give you 48 hours. 2 days to decide if she's worth losing your empire over. After that, I'm making my move. And Kim Jong, next time we meet, one of us isn't walking away. Park and his men left, melting into the darkness. Kim Jong stood alone in the factory, his heart pounding, adrenaline crashing through his system. His backup team emerged from the shadows. Boss, we had clear shots. Why didn't you give the signal? One of them asked. Because this isn't over. Park's not stupid enough to come here without insurance. Killing him tonight would have triggered something worse. Kim Jung pulled out his phone, called Minho. Status on Jasmine? Safe. The boss? Park's people are definitely watching the house. We counted at least 4. Double the security. No one gets within 100 yards of her. And Minho? Start gathering everyone. Every operative, every ally, every resource we have. In 48 hours, we're going to war. And this time, Park Sung-ho dies permanently. Kim Jung left the factory and drove through Seoul's nighttime streets, his mind racing with strategy and contingency plans. He should have killed Park years ago, should have made sure the threat was eliminated completely. But he'd been arrogant, thought humiliation was enough. That mistake had nearly cost him everything. He wouldn't make that mistake again. His phone rang. Jasmine. Against his better judgment, he answered. Are you okay? Her voice was tight with worry. Minho won't tell me anything, but I can see Min outside the house. Something went wrong, didn't it? Everything's fine, just being cautious. Kim Jung, don't lie to me. I can hear it in your voice. What happened at the meeting? He pulled over, unable to drive and have this conversation simultaneously. Park knows where you are. He has people watching Ji-won's house. But you're safe, Jasmine. I have security everywhere. He can't get to you. But he tried. Yes. Silence. Then, quietly, what are you going to do? What I have to do. What I should have done 2 years ago. You're going to kill him? It wasn't a question. Kim Jung closed his eyes. Yes. When? Soon. Within 2 days. And if something goes wrong, if he kills you first, then Minho will make sure you get somewhere safe. Somewhere Park can never find you. You'll be taken care of, protected, given a new identity if necessary. I don't want a new identity, Jasmine said, her voice breaking. I want you, alive, here, with me. I know. I want that too, more than anything. Then Don't die. Please, Kim Jung, don't make promises you can't keep. Don't make me care about you and then disappear. I'll come back to you. I swear it. You better. Because when you do, I'm never letting you out of my sight again. This dangerous, complicated, impossible thing between us, we're figuring it out. Together. No more secrets, no more running, just us, facing whatever comes next. Kim Jung felt something crack in his chest, something warm and terrifying and absolutely necessary. Together, he agreed. I promise. They talked for another 10 minutes before Jasmine finally said goodnight. After hanging up, Kim Jung sat in his car and made a decision. He wouldn't just eliminate Park, he'd eliminate the entire threat. Every person who'd helped him, every connection that made him dangerous, every thread of his organization. Complete eradication. Because Jasmine deserved better than a life spent looking over her shoulder. She deserved peace, safety, a future without fear. And Kim Jung would give her that, even if it cost him everything he'd built. 2 days later, Park Sung-ho's body was found in the Han River. So were the bodies of his 6 lieutenants and 15 of his key operatives. The message was clear. This is what happens when you threaten what belongs to Kim Jung. But what the city didn't know, what no one except Minho knew, was that Kim Jung had also dismantled 3 of his own operations, cut ties with his most violent associates, and redirected his empire toward legitimate business. The change wouldn't happen overnight. Some things couldn't be erased. But he was trying. For her. For the life they might build together. When Jasmine returned to Seoul 3 days later, Kim Jung was waiting at her apartment. He looked tired, with shadows under his eyes and healing bruises on his knuckles. But he was alive. He was here. He was hers. She walked into his arms without a word, and they held each other for a long time. 2 people who survived impossible situations, finding comfort and shared strength. "It's over?" Jasmine asked finally. "It's over. And are you okay?" "I'm alive. That's more than I expected." He pulled back to look at her face, memorizing every detail. "I meant what I said. No more secrets, no more running. If we're doing this, I need you to know everything about who I am and what I've done. And then you can decide if you can still want me knowing the truth." Jasmine cupped his face in her hands. "I already know enough. You're dangerous, complicated, and have done things I probably don't want detailed explanations for. But you're also brave, protective, and capable of change. That's enough for me. We'll figure out the rest as we go." "You're sure?" "I'm sure." Kim Jung kissed her then, and it felt like coming home after a war. And maybe that's exactly what it was. Thank you so much for watching this incredible journey with Kim Jung and Jasmine. If you made it to the end, you're the real MVP. Please hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling me what you thought of this story. Did it meet your expectations? Are you ready for more stories like this? And please share this with anyone who loves intense, emotional tales of second chances and dangerous love. Your support keeps this channel alive and helps me bring you more amazing content. Part 3 of their story might be coming soon, depending on how much love this gets. So let me know if you want to see what happens next in their complicated, beautiful relationship. Until next time, besties, remember, some connections are worth fighting for, no matter how impossible they seem. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next story.